What's up, chat? It's Tuesday, September 9th, and you're watching The Hammer Daily. I'm your host here, Jason Cooper, alongside my producer, Jacob Germania, in the booth behind the board. And today we have a great show lined up for you today. We got Flup No Lied hitting lead off for us. He's going to be talking some futures. Going to be talking some Monday Night Football reactions, which I wish I could avoid, but we're going to have to get into that. After him, we have so many sports coming on. We're going to be talking a little bit about stock up, stock down for the NHL, excuse me. And just a little bit of NHL futures, a little bit of NHL preview, off-season preview, because NHL's starting up soon, a couple weeks. So we want to get you a nice early look for that. And then finally, Rob will come on, hitting cleanup. We're going to be taking a look at some Week 2 NFL lines, the lines that have moved the most, his reaction to those moves, and maybe can explain a little bit why those lines moved the way they did. So before we get into today's show, do us a favor. I ask you this every single time. Smash the like button. And subscribe to the channel if you're new here, because it goes a long way for us in the algorithm. Also, if this is not your first time here, this is your second time here, third time here, drop a 1 in the chat. I want to see the ones in the chat. A lot to get into yesterday. If you were on the Forward Progress stream, the live watch along, if you're watching the Monday Night Football game, it was a bit of a doozy. We'll talk about it with Flup. Speaking of football, though, I want to give you a quick shout out to our sponsors over at FanDuel before we get into today's show. The NFL's back, and if you're betting on FanDuel this season, here's some things to keep in mind. Number 1, celebrate your wins. Whether your same-game parlay has 2 legs or 10 legs, always use your legs to celebrate appropriately. Number 2, no kickoff, no problem. Live betting means the next play can be your play. And number 3, if you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $300 instantly in bonus bets if you win. And now you're ready to play your game on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Visit FanDuel.com/forward progress. Download the app today and get started. Please play responsibly. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC, 19 plus and physically located in Ontario, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. First online real money wager, only $5 deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit rghelp.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call Connex Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 or visit connexontario.ca. All right, we got through the ad read. Now let's get into the show. We got Chris. We got Flup No Lied coming on today, and we're going to talk a little bit about, like I mentioned off the top, a little Monday Night Football reaction. We're going to be talking about some futures looks. So Jacob, let's bring in Chris right now. Chris, Flup, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Doing okay. Maybe not well. Last night was a little bit of a doozy, as you know. Big fan of Caleb Williams. Go ahead.
He didn't look as great as I would hope. I was on the Bears. I'm not going to lie. I lost a big bet there, but it is what it is. He looked good in the first half. He had us in the first half, not in the second half.
Yeah, he had us for about the first 15 plays, and then we kind of lost things. Yeah. But listen, there was some good things that were there. Like, just fix the accuracy a little bit, and maybe hit some guys within 5 yards of them instead of throwing them 10 yards away from them. But maybe it can improve. Before we get into today's show, though, I don't know, did you watch yesterday's show? Because we had some almost very live bangers. We had Caleb Williams' first touchdown and Caleb Williams' first team touchdown and last touchdown parlayed together. And for those who didn't watch the game yesterday, Jacob is like rolling his eyes in the booth because he had that, and Caleb Williams was a half yard away from scoring that last touchdown. And Judah came on this show. I talked about it with him. He rated that bet 2 out of 10. Can you redact that from him as a fellow New Yorker? Say hey, maybe that was a good bet. Give me some credit here.
No, I cannot. You probably got a bad price. Those kind of bets almost never are good. There's no way I can back that.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's dive into futures looks. And you sent me a couple things that you liked. Your model that you priced out had a couple indicators going off. But before we get into those, there was one look that we talked about on last night's watch along. I believe it was Colt in the chat bringing it up, and I want to talk to you a little bit about it because I think it's good, but you don't. So we have a little bit of a debate here. So I wrote down on my sheet, upgrade everything Packers, right? I'm looking at minus 120 for them to win their division. And then I'm looking at also plus 370 to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. Are we liking that? Do we think that's a little crazy?
No, this is way too reactionary. This is a massive overreaction. So, one, the Vikings look good. The Vikings are still a reliable threat. J.J. McCarthy clearly looked a lot better in the second half. He got, the wind knocked out of him in the first. He looks a lot better. Vikings could be a real threat. They're already up to 5-point favorites over the Falcons. And also, if the Packers are so good, why are they getting bet down from 3.5 down to now, like, it's an expensive 3.5 for Commanders if you want to back them at home on a Thursday night game, which is even more favorable for the home game. This is basically the market saying that they're barely better than the Commanders. So if that's them, how are we already saying that they're a favorite to win the division and plus 390 to get the 1 seed? That's ridiculous. I make the division about plus 115-ish. And for the 1 seed, I don't actually have the 1 seed odds up. It doesn't work for me. But if I had to guess, it'd probably be closer to like 4.5, 5 to 1. It just seems absolutely ridiculous to rate them so high. With the Vikings still reliable, yeah, the Lions looked good, but are you going to just say the Lions are, we're downgrading them 2 or 3 power ratings? I mean, that seems absurd to me. So there's still so many threats here in the division, and then the Eagles still exist for the 1 seed. The Commanders are still a threat for the 1 seed, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, that's very fair. I think more so for me, looking at the 1 seed, it felt like the Eagles were underwhelming in that game against the Cowboys. The Cowboys defense didn't look too good, and I don't know if that was more so them kind of game planning themselves into a 1-score game where they were trying to attack over the middle too much and not using A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith deep downfield. I think they only had like 1 deep shot or 2 deep shots, and one of them was to Jahan Dotson. Like, maybe that's a part of the factor. So that's why I feel like maybe I'm a little bit more out on the Eagles, and then further in on the Packers, thus leading me to that number 1 seed. I believe it's plus 370 right now over at FanDuel. But okay, your model doesn't like it. Your model doesn't like it, but your model likes a couple other things.
Futures are the one thing I actually do, so we'll see.
All right, fair enough. One sec. Can you raise my volume a little bit?
Yes.
There you go. Perfect. All right. Let's talk about the New York Jets. Flip, I don't know if you watched yesterday's show, but yesterday I came on here. I gave out to the crowd Tanner Engstrand, 125 to 1 to win offensive coach, to win assistant coach of the year. Right now he's 50 to 1. You like the Jets. I like the Jets. Talk to me about the Jets.
I will admit he does look good. I mean, the Jets offense was very surprising to me. I was expecting it to be terrible, and they weren't terrible. They were probably just average, which to me, coming in with the expectations I had, is a massive improvement. The takeaways I had from the Jets-Steelers game was the Jets and Steelers both need to be upgraded. The Jets offense looks legit. The Steelers offense looked legit. And I think, everyone is pricing the Jets as a bottom 8 bottom feeder. I don't think you can price that in anymore. They aren't a bottom 8 team, in my opinion, based on how they look. They're a smidge. I'm not saying they're above average or even average. They're somewhere between the 16 and 24 for me. And if that is the deal, I think basically all their futures are good. Make the playoffs, win the division, over win total. They're all good in my opinion. And everything about them is just good because they're being still priced as a bottom 8 team that lost the week 1. And yeah, they lost week 1 and that hurts their chances, but they get a massive increase in chances based on their big upgrade, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm very high on the Jets relative to market. Obviously, they're still a dog to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think they're going to win the division. But based on the prices that we're getting, I would bet them.
Yeah, and I would go out on a limb here. Maybe this isn't going out on a limb too much after week 1, but I feel like I'm the most confident in them to win, to finish second in this division. I really did not like the way that the Dolphins, first of all, they look terrible. We don't have to talk about the Dolphins. Yeah. They're way too many injuries to start the year. Plus, we also were skeptical about them. Their defense looked terrible. Their offense was their saving grace, and they weren't able to put anything together against kind of a middling Colts defense. And then the New England Patriots, I was so underwhelmed with their performance. I didn't think Drake May looked that good. I didn't think that Their defense looked that good. Mind you, they didn't have Christian Gonzalez, but if he's going to be hurt for the first couple of weeks, that could be a big problem for them. So, like, that's something that I'm worried about with the New England Patriots. So we have this kind of mix of things where we have the Patriots and the Dolphins looking worse than I think people expected coming into the year, and then the Jets looking a lot better. And
yes.
I'm looking at the plus 350 to finish second in the division. Is that something that you would like to look at? I know you wanted to talk about win total over 5.5, but like,
so I don't have every single niche market priced out in this, so I don't have like finish second odds, but just directionally, I show value on everything that I do have. There's just no way that I hate the plus 350 to finish second. That seems like a good bet to me because I'm liking everything that I'm showing. Win totals to me was just like it was best in market, and I already leaned it. So how bad of a bet could it possibly be? But if you want to, I think obviously doing something like second division is actually probably a little bit better because, like you said, I agree with everything you just said. Dolphins you're downgraded. I think Mike McDaniels is now liable to be first coach to be fired. I mean, their team could implode midway through the season. They looked so bad. Everything looked like the team quit on them. It was awful. Drake May, we were promised that Drake May was going to be like a top 10 quarterback at some point. Didn't look like that. So they're worse. Like you said, the Jets are better. And, the Bills are going to be the Bills. So unless Josh Allen gets injured, Jets taking the one seed from them or the one spot in the division is unlikely to say the least.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. I love that we're in agreement on that. And also, what city do you live in? What team are you a fan of?
The Jets.
Oh my God. I just got baited so hard into all this. This is crazy. All right, let's move on from the Jets. Let's talk some other divisional. You want to talk some divisional winners. One of the biggest teams I think I was most impressed by coming out of week one, they had a tough matchup. It was the Los Angeles Chargers beating the Chiefs. Very, very impressive coming out the gate. The biggest shock was how willing they were to throw the football, which we don't really see that often from a Harbaugh offense. And I mean, shock to me. I thought they would run the ball with Omarion Hampton. They didn't. They threw a ton. Justin Herbert looks great. Their defense looks very stingy and very like bought in, I guess is the best way to put it. Jesse Minter, a good defensive coordinator. So you like them in the divisional market. Tell us a little bit about why.
Yeah. I mean, you tell me that in back-to-back years, the Chargers pass up a first-round receiver and go offensive tackle and then running back. And you have to think they're going to be running the ball, which, just pains me as someone who thinks Justin Herbert is a top 7 quarterback. And then he comes out and throws for over 300 yards and throws the ball over 30 times. And you're like, wow, this offense is actually cooking. So maybe, Harbaugh isn't just this ground and pound guy. He's still got a good defense. He still has established the run game. And they looked good versus the Chiefs. Like, if you told me who deserved to win that game, you had to say the Chargers. It wasn't a fluke win. They definitely deserved that victory. And if you told me, did you know the Chargers 3.5-point underdogs versus the Chiefs? I wouldn't believe it. I would have thought that the Chargers would have been closer to a pick 'em in that game based on how they played. So you got to upgrade the Chargers big time. They start out with the win, and the number one most likely team to win the division is the Chiefs. Start out with the loss. That's a big advantage too. So just looking at my numbers right now, I make them plus 141 fair to win the division. So the plus 190 at FanDuel is just delicious to me. That seems like a great value bet there. Now, the problem is, I will admit, I've shown value on the Chargers the last couple of years too. And I've passed most of the time because I don't like to bet against Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the league. But I think this year might be a little bit different. I'm not saying that Herbert's better than Mahomes. That would be ridiculous. But, Worthy just got injured. He still got Rashee Rice on a suspension. Kelsey is old. How much can Mahomes do by himself? Can he really carry this team and drag them to an 11-win, 12-win season? That's going to be tough. And the Chargers, I think, especially already beating the Chiefs right out the gate, they're on their way to that. So I think the Chargers here are pretty good in the division. It's scary always to go against Mahomes, but I think you got to do it here at this price.
Yeah, and the Chiefs are going to have a tough time with the early part of the season with the just unfortunate injury to Xavier Worthy. Obviously, Rashee Rice, we didn't know when he was going to get suspended preseason. Now we knew that it was for the first 6 games, and it almost, I don't want to say perfectly, that's the wrong word, but it lines up where like two of their best offensive weapons are now hurt. They're gonna have to rely on Hollywood Brown, Tyquan Thornton, Travis Kelce, who's still good, but like on the wrong end of the aging curve. So yeah, plus 190, I really like. And on top of that, the Denver Broncos feel like they would also be considered a little bit of a threat to win this division. They didn't look too good out the gate either. So plus 190, Los Angeles Chargers. I like this look. I just got to ask, have you been talking to Jeff Feinberg recently? Is that why you're all in on this, or is that?
No, nothing to do with Jeff. It's just like I didn't even think about the Broncos, but that's a good point. I think a lot of people came away taking from the Broncos-Titans game thinking, oh my God, the Titans suck. And they do. I'm not saying that they don't suck. They got gifted 3 turnovers, and they still lost by 8 points. It's embarrassing. But you also have to think the Broncos, Bo Nix, I thought Bo Nix was take a step forward, not a step backwards. And the defense, Calvin Ridley had a couple big drops.
Yeah.
Where, the defense has probably looked a little bit better than they're getting credit for. So this Broncos team, I think they're about almost 2.5, 3 points worse than the Chargers. And the Chargers are right there, just a smidge below the Chiefs, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, those are all great points. And yeah, like you said, the Bo Nix stuff, everyone always treats progression as being linear, but we know it's not. You can flatline, you can go back down. It's kind of how the way things work. And then you have one more division future you want to talk with us. You want to look at the Jags to win their division, and I'm curious as to why. So I'll leave the floor to you for that one.
Yeah, so it's a slimmer pick. For reference, I'm pulling it up now. I have them plus 162 to win the division, and it's plus 190 on FanDuel. So still showing some value, but for futures, I wouldn't blame you for passing this one.
Yep.
It's really a two-tone thing. One, the Texans did not look that good.
Yep.
The Texans and the Rams, that game was ugly. CJ Stroud is okay, but there's a lot of question marks. Their offense looks slow and anemic, and it just nah. And on the other hand, Liam Cohen with the Jaguars, they already got rid of Tank Bigsby. That shows me how dynamic they think Etienne's going to be, and Cohen has revitalized that offense. I mean, the offense was looking great. We have Etienne is now like a real threat again. I thought Bigsby. I feel bad because I had Bigsby overs this year, and those are already dead week 1. But that's the good thing for that is the Jags look really legit. They took money all at post, and they got rewarded. They looked so much better than the Panthers, and they're starting a game up against the Texans, and we can get almost 2-1 on them. Seems like a good bet to me because, I guess now the last thing, and then the Titans are just dead. I mean, I don't even know what are they to win the division. How are they? They're
plus 900. Yeah, that feels
that's ridiculous.
Too high.
There's no way I would.
Would you Fezzik bet the no on that?
I would bet the no at minus 1,500 happily. I make them 21-1 to win the division. So I would happily bet the no at 15-1 there. It's a terrible bet. But the Colts, the Colts look good, but then, and I do show some value on the Colts as well, to be fair. But the question there I have with the Colts is Danny Dimes going to look this good the whole year? And with his injury, am I baking that in properly? I don't know. I upgraded the Colts there, so that's why I kind of show a little bit of value on the Colts. But just my gut tells me that's a good way to pass here. So I'm not too scared about the Colts moving forward. I think with their quarterback room, there's nothing to be too excited about. Where compared to the Jags, we could actually back an above-average quarterback. Yeah,
no, that's a great point there. And plus, like you said, it's hard to get takeaways from the Miami game because obviously the Colts offense looked dominant, but that Miami defense just doesn't look good. Their cornerback grouping is horrendous. Plus, they had injuries to it. It's very, very hard to take stuff away and trust what you see in that Colts offense just yet. But I mean, Shane Steichen did prove a lot of haters, including me, wrong. That hey, he can still do this thing. He can still cook up a good offense, regardless of who his quarterback is, as long as it's not Anthony Richardson. So yeah, I like that one. That was the only. I don't want to say the Colts are the only team that I'm worried about with this Jags bet, but like you said with the Texans, it feels like I'm feeling very down on the Texans. Their offense doesn't look very strong. They have essentially no run game. Their only weapon is Nico Collins, and if he gets shut down, it's very, very hard for this team to do anything good. Plus, CJ Stroud is just kind of seems like he takes too many sacks now. So, yeah, the Texans down, Jags up. Yeah, I think I agree with you.
I mean, the one thing that, now speaking out loud, that could blow this up is if the Texans potentially, now thinking out loud, Texans trading for Hill actually seems like a match made in heaven. They can maybe give the Dolphins like a third rounder or something, or maybe even a fourth, and they can get like another weapon to actually like not make it just a Nico Collins offense.
Yeah, like they need something to go right for them there. They have absolutely no weapons, absolutely anemic. All right, Flop, I have to let you go. Before you go, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Game you're most looking forward to in week 2?
God, probably the Lions Bears. And
okay.
And honestly, the reason I say that is I still have a lot of question marks.
Mm-hmm.
Is Caleb, like he showed some flashes with Ben Johnson?
Yep.
Is he just a game script guy now, where he's just like the first couple drives he looks good and then he looks bad? And then the other question I have is the Lions. Are they dead? Is Ben Johnson everything for the Lions, and are they toast now? So I want to know both those answers, and I'll get answered that hopefully in week 2.
I feel like I love that answer, but I feel like we're not going to get any answers in week 2, just because like it's the double revenge game, the narrative of that going in. Yeah. But I'm joking about that, by the way. But anyways, who knows? Flop, I appreciate you joining us today. We'll talk soon. All right, that was Flup No Lied, Chris Dierkis at Flup No Lied on Twitter. Go follow him. Do us a favor. Show him some love. He is a one-time contest winner, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that off the top of the show. But yeah, great
Make
guy.
sure you mention it, man.
I got to mention it every time. I just want to remind everyone that we have our Tuesday Best Bets show later today. Everyone loves Thursday's Best Bets shows, even though our record wasn't the greatest. But let's blame that on Hitman, because he was really bringing us down. We have a new Tuesday show along with the Thursday show. It's our early bets, so we can get a little bit more value early on in the week. G-Stack George is hosting. Flup will be there, who just joined us. Judah will also be there, who was with us yesterday. So it's going to be a solid show, going game by game, giving their best bets. It's tonight, 5 p.m. Eastern, Forward Progress YouTube channel. Go head over there after the show. Go hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can be notified right when they go live. All right, we talked a little bit about NFL. Let's shift over to some Canadian stuff, all right? Let's talk some NHL season preview. Let's talk some hockey. Coming up with us right now, we have a tortured Canucks fan, an NHL bettor, among other things, and a good friend of the program, Mr. So Money Sports. So Money, how's it going, my man?
Oh.
Uh-oh. Is so Money...
I think he's muted on his end.
He might be muted on your end here.
There we go.
Great start here. Great start. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good. We're good to go. Let's go.
There you go. I'm good, Jason. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to talk NHL. I'm excited to talk hockey because it's been a tough offseason for me in terms of hockey. So I kind of, the last 2 months, ever since July, let's call it 1st, 2nd, 3rd, kind of threw it out. I've been focused on NFL. So I'm ready to get back in the swing of things and talk some hockey. There's been a lot of moving parts this offseason. So we want to talk a little bit about some stock up, stock down stuff. We're going to look into a couple of futures. But yeah, let's start with the teams you think are on the rise the most from this past offseason.
So one team that stands out, and I know Moreto's going to love this, is the Habs. Usually a young team that had the kind of success they did, their first taste, I look for them to kind of take a step back. I don't see that with this team. I think that they have their core is ready to take that next step. And in fact, they went out this offseason and they added to the back end with Dobson and Bolduc up front. I thought that was a very, very underrated addition to a team that has a lot of front end skill, but probably needs a little sandpaper as well. So I think that Bolduc provides that for them, and I feel that Montembeault is ready to take the next step. If you've listened to my thoughts on him the last couple of years, you know how high I am on him. So things are looking up for the Habs. Again, usually a situation where I would be trending down on a team like that, but not this year.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited about those moves that they made on their back end. Of course, that Noah Dobson is the one that you're highlighting there. Lane Hudson looks like an absolute revelation. They still have Patrick Laine, who is like a little bit of a monkey on the back for them, for their team, because I don't really think that he provides too much in terms of what he gets paid to do. The only pushback, I said, like, So Money, why are you so high on Montembeault? I haven't seen anything from my eyes, at least, that tells me he's that great of a goalie. What's the reasoning behind you being high on Sam Montembeault?
A couple of reasons. I like his style,
Okay.
and I think that it's conducive to the NHL. Also, his peripherals have looked good. Even the year, I think it was like three years ago, where he was first coming up, he wasn't getting the wins. I thought that his numbers still look good. So yeah, I think that we'll see goalies take a little bit longer to develop and to progress. So I think that we're going to see him start coming into his own now.
All right. Montreal Canadiens right now priced at 89.5 wins, minus 108 towards their over on FanDuel. Is that a play for you, or is that the number that you bet into place, so money on FanDuel?
I think that's into place now.
Okay.
I do like it slightly, but I think that's been bet into place at this point because market sentiment is pretty high on the Habs as well.
Yeah, fair enough. Plus 115 to make the playoffs as well for the Montreal Canadiens. All right, let's move on to the next team you have a big stock up on. It's the Carolina Hurricanes, which is like kind of tough to be stock up on them considering how good they are, right? So, tell me a little bit about why you like the Canes and your stock up for them.
Yeah, you're right. It's hard to be higher on a team that's already elite, but the thing is that there is a clear difference between the Florida Panthers and the Carolina Hurricanes. So the Canes still had a ways to go to reach that level, and I don't know if they're there, but they certainly made themselves a lot closer to being there. So one, they did have the addition of Nikolai Ehlers, and if you've followed the Hurricanes lately or the last few years, you know that the thing holding them back a lot of times is they lack the finishing, and they have, credit to them, the last couple of years gone out and tried to address that. Obviously, they need more, and they've once again in the offseason gotten Nikolai Ehlers in there, so I think that's going to be a boost for them. They also got a Condre Miller, puck-moving defenseman. I think that's going to help them out with the flow, especially. We have to keep in mind that all these moves are geared towards countering what the Florida Panthers can do. So if you're trying to get finishing in there, if you're trying to get a puck-moving defenseman, I think those things will bode well for you if you're trying to kind of bridge that gap between yourselves and a team like the Panthers. So I give them an A in their offseason. There's only so much you can do when you're already a lead, but they're showing that they do see that there's a discrepancy between themselves and the Panthers, and they are trying to counter that. So for that, A+.
All right, I love it. Plus 350 on FanDuel for them to win the Stanley Cup, which is, pretty high odds for both them and the Panthers. Or sorry, to advance to the Stanley Cup final. My God, I was going to say that price seems incorrect. Sorry, to win the Stanley Cup, they're plus 700, tied with the Panthers. So the only problem I have with this, I don't want to call it a problem, but I guess they obviously the Hurricanes did need finishing, right? But Nikolai Ehlers stylistically doesn't really fit into the mold that Rob Brind'Amour plays. I understand that you don't need to have a guy who is a dump and chase grinder guy who Rob Brind'Amour really likes, but he's more of the transition style. Do you think that do you think we're going to see Ehlers kind of try and change up his game, or Rob Brind'Amour mold him more into a player he likes? Or do you think they've kind of been missing that transition style of play in their offense?
I think that they are missing the kind of play that Ehlers can bring, and again, we've seen with Brind'Amour that the players that they kind of bring in fit his mold. So, so somebody who is not really a Brind'Amour kind of guy, but is clearly possessing a skill set that you're missing. I think that's a positive. So I don't know about personality wise. That's not for me to say, but in terms of on ice play, I think that he would be a compliment to the rest of the team.
Yeah, I think that works well. All right, we talked stock up. Let's go in a little bit on stock down. One of the teams that had by far one of the worst offseason was the Los Angeles Kings. What did you hate about the most, about their offseason?
I hated everything about their offseason. I mean, first of all, we can never forget the coaching mishap there in the series where they had that series in hand against the Oilers, and you're challenging a call that wasn't. I mean, yeah, fine. We're not gonna litigate that again. But I mean, there was a coaching situation which I feel that they probably should have moved on at that point. Also, in the offseason, what they did on defense. So they let Gavrikov go, they let Spence go, and who did they replace them with? Cody Ceci and Brian Dumoulin.
Yeah.
And I mean, in that division, when you're trying to measure up against the Oilers and Vegas, you got a couple of the slowest guys that are going to be going up against Eichel and Marner and McDavid and Draisaitl. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So so the Kings were a team I was high on last year. Obviously, I had Cup futures on them. I had them. I actually had them to sweep the Oilers, if you remember that. So
Yeah.
And from that point, they've just completely imploded. So, I mean, maybe that's a so money curse. I don't know, but that's a team that I'm very low on. Unfortunately, the odds to miss the playoffs are not where I need them to be at this point of the season. Plus 220, I believe, is not something that I want to keep in the account for 6, 7, 8 months. So, so if we can get a better price on them moving forward, something to look into. But that is a team that I'm very low on.
Are you worried about how weak the West is and how weak that division is for them to miss the playoffs? Or you really think that you're so down on them that you're like, I mean, I guess you need a better number than plus 220, so that's already a low percentage chance of happening. But does that worry you at all? That makes you want to stay off a little bit more than not play this plus 220 right now? Is that part of the reasoning?
Yeah, that's part of the reasoning. But also, I'm not that low on that division. I think that obviously we have Vegas and the Oilers as the in the lead there, right? And then you go beyond that. I think that the Canucks, I do like the things that they've done, or the things that they're trying to do, I should say. I like that. I think that the Kraken are not going to be as bad as they were last year. Calgary probably will take a step back, right? So I think that Los Angeles is, I don't know if they're going to be top 3, but I think that that is going to be a division where it could surprise some people this year.
Okay, that's a great reasoning there. And people in the chat right now are asking me to give you some Canucks radio talk. So I have you for 5 more minutes. I have 2 more things I want to talk, or 1 more thing I want to talk about with you. But I'll give you the floor first for Canucks radio talk. You didn't mention them as a team you were a stock up on. You didn't mention them as a team that you were stock down on. So you're somewhere in the middle. Which side would you lean towards, stock up or stock down for the Canucks?
So stock up with a caveat though. So everything that could go wrong for them went wrong last year, right? They're not as bad as they were last year, and they're not as good as they were 2 years ago. So they come in somewhere in the middle. If we take the midpoint on them, so somewhere in the middle between the last 2 years, that's a team that's challenging for the playoff spot, right? So I do see them challenging for the playoffs. I view them as a wild card team. There are things going for them in the sense that there were dressing room issues that just addition by subtraction. They've tried to address that as best they can, and hopefully that's been taken care of. I don't anticipate more dressing room issues going forward this year, and if that's the case, then I mean just blow it all up at this point. So so the dressing room can't be as bad as it was last year.
Yeah.
Their goaltending, Demko should be healthy. If he is healthy, let's not forget he's a top 5 goalie in this league when he's healthy. The problem is staying healthy. So there's that. I think they retooled the defense last year on the fly, which was very good. Earlier in the season, They had a real tough time defensively. They changed that whole up. They changed that whole unit up as the season went on. So I think that's going to be a good defense with good goaltending. They are missing a top six forward. I think that they're going to do their best to address that. Probably not before the season, but the team has shown that they have no issues making big deals mid-season as well. So I think they'll be patient. Clearly, it's no secret this team needs a top six forward. And everybody in the organization knows that as well. I think that as the season progresses, November, December, I think that they're going to make a real strong effort to try to address that.
Yeah, hopefully we can see a good split in the standings when it comes that time. So the teams that are actually out of the playoffs, they're like willing to sell, because I feel like that happens way too often in the NHL, where there's too many teams that feel like they're in the hunt, but they're actually not. Like, they might be points wise, but if you look at this, at some teams, it's like this team has no chance of making it past the first round. If they do make it past the first round, there's no chance they're going to win the Stanley Cup. So, let's start selling. So hopefully we can see that for your Canucks. Before I let you go, though, one more question I have. A little bit of selfish of me because I'm a Leafs fan. We saw an exodus of one of the best Leafs in Leafs history in Mitch Marner. And there is a player special on FanDuel. Mitch Marner versus Austin Matthews. More points. Most seasons, Austin Matthews is the winner of that. But Mitch Marner is currently priced at minus 142. Listen, FanDuel's not taking a ton on it, but I've seen them. I think they're taking around to win 700, which is still, you know what, for a novelty future prop like that is pretty decent amount of limits. So what's your take on this? Do you like Mitch Marner at minus 142? Do you like Austin Matthews at plus 114? And let's forget about the odds for a second. Who would you rather take here?
Who would I rather take would be Marner, right? Because he's got more upside to get the points, right?
Yep.
So if you're giving me even odds, just pick one player who's going to get more points. I would pick Marner.
Yep.
Right. Once you build the odds into it, my opinion does change a little bit.
Yeah.
I would like Matthews at the plus money because Marner, I think, is going to be more. It's going to be more insulated in that. On that team, there's other guys around him that are expected to carry the load. So I think that that may hurt his that may hurt his points. And obviously Matthews is the guy in Toronto. So and we know that he's going to put up points. So if you're just giving me the players, I pick Marner. If you're putting odds onto it, I need to take the plus money with Matthews.
Yeah, and also the style of play for the Vegas Golden Knights, they like to be sort of that wet blanket suppressing style. So, overall team goals, chances are the Leafs will probably score more than the Golden Knights, but we'll have to see about that. Anyway, So Money, thank you so much for joining us. You can find So Money on Twitter at So Money Sports. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, see you, So Money. Appreciate it. Chat was absolutely loving So Money. Charles Saul always in the chat. Marner saying Marner good to minus 250. I like the way you think there, Charles. I like the way you think. Let's get ones in the chat for So Money. Always fun to talk NHL and NHL season preview. Because I love talking about the NHL as much as I love talking about the NFL. I was born and raised on the NHL. So before we bring up Rob, just want to quickly mention a couple of things to you guys. If you've been subscribed to this channel, you know that we have this wonderful series every Wednesday coming out at around I think it's 5 p.m. Eastern, and it's the GRP Gone Wild. We have some our third episode coming out tomorrow on this channel, so hit that notification bell. It was with GRP, Jeff. We go around Chicago. It's been a good, fun time. I was with them while we recorded it, so it's been fun to rewatch it for myself. So tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern, episode 3 comes out. And then the other thing I want to get into is one more thing. Quick word about BetStamp Pro, the odds screen trusted by pros to win at scale. And for the first time, you can unlock the standalone main market screen without the full props package. If you're ready to level up with real betting tools, this is your entry point. The BetStamp main market screen gives you professional grade access for only $99 a month on the annual plan. It's built for speed and precision with 150 plus sports books. And this season we've added integrated bet tracking so you can send wagers directly from your odds screen into your BetStamp account. And because you're listening to The Hammer, instead of the normal 7-day free trial, you'll get a full 14-day free trial to test it out. Don't wait. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to claim it today. And guys, I know this is one of our sponsors, but I actually really do use BetStamp Pro. It's helped me a lot personally with my betting, and I really like that they added the tracking. Yeah, I really like. Don't you like that they added the tracking? It actually helps out so much more. Like
so much easier. Instead of having 2 tabs open, having to go into BetStamp and track it there, I can just track it straight through BetStamp Pro. I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, like
game changer.
Sunday morning for me, I'm like sitting in front of my screen and just kind of firing off a bunch of props bets. And then at the end of the day, I have to like filter through each account and look what I bet on, how much I bet, all that kind of stuff to keep track of it. But now it's integrated through BetStamp, so it saves me one more click, one more step of the process. It saves me a ton of time. On top of that, like BetStamp Pro in general has also saved me a ton of time because I used to scan the BetStamp app and look through and do it manually. And I'm like, you know what? For $99 a month, it's definitely saving me a ton of time. Definitely worth it for me. So anyways, let's get into the next part of the show. We got, are we sure we want to bring him on?
No.
Okay. We got the CEO of the Hammer Betting Network. You've seen him on the Circles Off YouTube channel. He is an anytime touchdown god. We'll call him that because 2 touchdown hits last night on our Forward Progress watch along. Rob Pizzola, how's it going?
It's going good. I just listened to So Money there. Yeah, stock up or stock down on the Canucks, So Money. What do you think the answer is going to be? Do you think there is ever going to be a stock down answer? No, that was great. I'm back to life. I mean, I'm getting into like the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday grind now, and I'm up Sunday morning really early, in bed late at night. Monday's a full day, so got a little bit extra sleep this morning, but feeling good, man. We won props on the game last night. Had a couple big hits, and yeah, I'm ready to go for week 2 already.
Week 1 already started. That's what it's all about. We're heading into week 2, and we're going to talk about the week 2 line report. And I noticed you said you slept in. That's why you weren't responding to my text messages at like 10 o'clock in the morning. That makes perfect sense. Anyways.
No, that's not entirely true. You're just permanently muted.
Okay.
Even if I'm up, I probably won't see them when you send me the messages. Actually.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, maybe I'll have to like go onto your phone and unmute myself so we can talk about what we're going to talk about on the show today. But anyways, we got a week 2. I don't want to call it like a line report, but maybe a market forecasting, market watch, weatherman Rob here to tell you where the lines are moving. So we have a lot of total moves in this week and a couple on the spread. I think the biggest thing I was looking towards was how totals would move after we saw. I know it's a trend, the 11-2 towards the under, and I was just wondering if maybe people will kind of chill out on it a bit earlier. But yeah, so we saw tons of four games move up. In terms of their total. It was the Chargers, Raiders, it was the Patriots, Miami game, it was Atlanta, Minnesota, and it was Philly, KC. Of those 4 games, are you shocked that any of them ticked up in terms of their totals, or does it all seem correct?
No, I think there's a couple of them that I am surprised about. So first and foremost, I always start with the good. And there used to be a wrestler named Barry Horowitz. He used to give himself a pat on the back. This is a great plug for the Sunday reset on Forward Progress on Sunday nights. But we looked at that Chargers Raiders total that was posted on Sunday night. We're like, there's no way that this could be the total. That has to go up.
Yeah.
So we're looking at some really good CLV there. I'm not surprised there. Where I am surprised a little bit would be a couple of games. For one, New England, Miami. My original inclination when I was watching last week was like, both these offenses are probably going to be good buys going forwards. And you account for the injuries on defense, Christian Gonzalez being out for New England, Miami having cluster cornerback injuries. I kind of understand it, but there's also offensive line, like major offensive line issues for both of those teams going into the week. So slightly surprised there. New England's O-line did not hold up against the Raiders front whatsoever. And then on Miami's side, they lost James Daniels, the right guard. They lost Austin Jackson, the right tackle. We don't know the early injury reports yet, but James Daniels has a pec injury. He's probably going to be out. So a little bit surprised to see that one go the way that it did. Also, kind of somewhat surprising to see Philly KC sitting at 47 now at a lot of spots in market. Just when you consider the way that Philly's offense looked in week 1, it was very I've been using the word vanilla. I might as well just keep using it. They didn't run a lot of pre-snap motion. They didn't do a lot of things there. And then KC, I mean, who's catching the ball for them at this point? Like they can't generate explosives as an offense. They've tried a couple of shots downfield that Mahomes missed. But to me, that's a little bit surprising that it ticked up all the way to 47. FanDuel still holding at 46.5. But you're seeing some of the market making books at 47 right now. I have a feeling there will be some buyback on the under in that game.
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense for that. Like I think you said it the best. The Philly KC one is the biggest head scratcher for me. Like what weapons does Kansas City have now? Like it's like, again, we talked about it earlier with Flupp here. Like you're relying on Hollywood Brown, you're relying on Tyquan Thornton, you're relying on Travis Kelce, who's like older now, but still somewhat good. And then like even in the run game, Pacheco isn't the explosive threat he was before. Like Kareem Hunt is like, I mean, 3 in a cloud of dust, and that's about it. So it's tough to see where the points are going to come from in this game. But yeah, I think good little market report there. Let's flip over to games that ticked under. We have 4 games I have that ticked under: Denver and Indianapolis from 44.5 to 42.5. Tampa Bay and Houston from 45.5 to 42.5. San Francisco, New Orleans, 43.5 to 42.5, which I was a little bit shocked by. And then Carolina and Arizona, 45.5, down to 44.5. Same question here. Any of them that you're surprised by? Any of them that you called on the Sunday reset?
Yeah, so we took Tampa Bay under on Sunday reset. That's looking great right now in terms of CLV. That one's just not a surprise. Neither offense looked good. You have Tristan Wirfs out on the Tampa Bay O-line. I think that's going to be a problem for them moving forwards. And then the Houston O-line, Ed Ingram didn't play. Jake Andrews, their center, hurt his foot. He was carted to the locker room. Christian Kirk's going to be out again. So no explosivity there, really, as it stands right now. That's not surprising. I guess for me, the biggest one here, like San Fran, New Orleans, that's entirely predictable. That's just Brock Purdy, questionable, essentially, at this point, right? Shoulder injury, toe injury. That makes logical sense. As soon as that happens, market's going to bet the Saints and the under. Indy, Denver, moving as much as it did to the under kind of surprises me. And I get it. Denver's offense did not look good in week 1. 4.5 yards per play against Tennessee, 39% success rate. It was ugly. They were sloppy with the ball. But on the other side of things, Indy's offense did look really good. Now, someone might be just taking stock into Indy, they had the luck of the draw playing Miami. This is a huge step up in class. They're not going to be able to move the ball. And that's totally fair. I think that's a valid point. But I also think Indy's defense is a little bit overrated in the early going here. They're going to lose Travarius Ward in all likelihood, who's in concussion protocol right now. We don't know if he's going to play. That was a pretty substantial move. And I guess it's counterintuitive to, I thought the number was fine in the first place. So if anything, I would lean to the over there as it stands right now. And a little bit surprised at the amount that's come in on the under there.
Yeah, tough look for Indianapolis, though, going from literally the worst defense in the league to the best defense in the league. They're definitely going to get battle tested in this one. It'll be interesting to see how their offense handles things. I want to circle back to the New Orleans San Francisco game because, like you mentioned, Brock Purdy's injured. The spread moved from +7 to +4.5, obviously based off of that Brock Purdy news. Are you, first of all, don't give away too much here if you don't want to, but are you looking to maybe buy back onto San Fran? Or are you going to wait for the news to drop? Because it's always this thing where the number is baking in the percentage chance that he plays. Do you have a lean towards him playing or not playing here?
Well, I'll start by saying this. Whenever I see a quarterback on the injury report with multiple injuries, so toe and shoulder in this case, I want nothing to do with betting that If Brock Purdy plays in this game, I don't want anything to do with San Fran at current market prices. Now, if Brock Purdy is out and Mac Jones is playing, I'm not a Mac Jones guy, but I think he's a serviceable backup in the league. And frankly, there might not be a huge difference between him and Spencer Rattler in reality. Rattler, I thought, was better than people might give him credit for in week 1. Yeah. He's okay in that offense, but San Fran has better coaching, in my opinion. So if you're going to get a number here that drops significantly on any news that Purdy might miss, I know that San Fran is missing skill position players. They're pretty banged up on offense. But this is historically a head coach that has been able to game plan around that in Kyle Shanahan. I would be, again, depends on how far market moves on this. But if we get down to a situation where San Fran is laying a field goal or less on the road because Brock Purdy is out, I'm going to have a lot of interest in the 49ers at that price because I think the Saints are a pretty awful football team all around. and you consider Chase Young probably not playing on the edge again this week, Julian Blackmon very likely looks like out for the year at this point. I just don't have any faith in that Saints team.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair to say. Even though they kind of gave the Cardinals a run for their money there, a little bit of survivor entries were shaken in their boots after watching that final drive for New Orleans. But anyways, Arizona was able to pull it out. New Orleans, like you mentioned, Rattler, I thought looked pretty decent, better than I think people expected. But yeah, still not good enough to beat the San Francisco team, regardless of how banged up they are. Let's move on to a couple more spreads that moved. Your Dallas Cowboys moved from -4.5 to -6, playing the New York Giants. I mean, I'm embarrassed to say I was high on the New York Giants coming into the offseason, coming into the season, and like, by God, Russell Wilson is horrible. I was talking to
dog shit, man.
It's terrible. I was talking to TA about this, and I'm just like, you know what? I got to start like playing last season's games during the offseason, just so I can remind myself how shit some of these quarterbacks are, because you kind of forget. You can lull yourself into like the pretty things of certain teams and kind of convince yourself that, hey, maybe they can fix things. But yeah, looks horrible. Let's get Jackson Dart USC in there ASAP. Do you agree with this move from -4.5 to -6? And do you think we can get anywhere closer to 7 here?
I don't think so. So I'll say that in some private group chats this week, this has probably been the most widely discussed game for survivor purposes, because there are some implications there, but also because I think a lot of people are showing a lean toward the Giants on numbers right now, and they just don't want to bet it. Yeah. And I'm kind of in the same boat, right? Like life is too short. The gap between these offenses, if the Cowboys can run the ball this year, which it looks like they might be able to, the gap between these two offenses is enormous. It is huge. Dallas will be able to move it, whereas the Giants under Russ, it's just such a flaccid offense. Like the ceiling is so low for what they could put up. So you're basically relying on a very strong defensive game, which they might be able to give you because there is talent on defense. I do just gut feeling believe that at some point or another, the Giants will take money this week. Maybe as limits get higher. There are some groups out there that are just like, they play the number, and that's it. And they're successful in doing that. So I think these 6s will get taken out at some point in the week. It's not going to be by me, though. I don't really have much interest. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough game overall. I'll be using Dallas maybe in some consideration for Survivor this week.
Yeah, fair enough here. And I think the most frustrating thing as well, but just looking at the Giants, was the usage of like Abdul Carter last week. I think he only played like 32-ish, 35-ish snaps on defense, played about half the snaps. I understand you want to rotate him in, but like the bull case for the New York Giants for me was like, hey, what if Abdul Carter is incredible and amazing? It's like you're barely using him. You're using him on special teams. Like I think he might have blocked a kick too, but like, yeah, let's get him on. Let's actually use him off the edge. Like, what are we doing here? Anyways, one more team I want to talk about with you before I have you out the door is just talk about this game. Detroit Lions moved from -4.5 to -6. I think it's still -5.5. Yeah, it's -5.5 on FanDuel against the Chicago Bears. Like we talked about not overreacting to week one. That you told me not to overreact to week one, and that seems like everyone's overreacting to the Chicago Bears. So tell me a little bit about this. Is it because like the cluster corner injury that they're probably going to experience against the Lions for this week? What's going on here with this game?
Well, if you did look at the look aheads, right, they were Detroit -5.5, some spots 6 as well. So basically what happened with this game is Detroit looked like garbage against Green Bay. People started scooping up all the Chicago, brought the number down, and a lot of the feeling was exactly what, Judah stole from Fez in his analysis, which was, the coaching change is huge here. If Detroit's offense looks this bad, it's going to have an impact positively on Chicago. And then we learned last night that, well, it didn't in the first place because the quarterback still can't make throws. So I think we're just getting that back to the original number. This is a tough game for me to handicap. I think Detroit is a lot better on paper. I want to monitor the injury to Terry and Arnold in their secondary as well. I think that's an important one for them moving forwards. Chicago, same type of deal, right? It's really challenging with your starting middle linebacker and 2 of your top 3 cornerbacks out for week 1. Do they get the return of any of those players this upcoming week? I mean, it was close. Those guys came down to the wire in terms of injury report and being able to play. So possibly, I think this number is fine, honestly. Okay. But I wonder yeah, how much Ben Johnson will have schemed up for this team. And like, it's kind of like narrative based, right? There's already the talks of KC Philly this week of like, oh, KC didn't care about week 1. It's the Super Bowl rematch. And you're going to get the same conversation about this game.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, how much did Chicago actually care about the Minnesota game versus prepping for Detroit in week 2? And I don't know. I don't know that I necessarily buy it, but
yeah,
you really, the buyback on Detroit is just getting it back to the number that it was before the week.
Mm-hmm. I think like I get the narrative stuff there. It's like a little out to lunch, but I think the matchup angle where it's like you have a offensive coordinator who knows a team's ins and outs. I've seen the way that they structure their defense every single day. I think there's like a slight matchup advantage there. Maybe you can tell me if that feels a little too narrative-y, but also like the problem is with me, and like I obviously love the Chicago Bears. I just can't trust this quarterback right now to win a game for them. So I don't know how this is going to shake out. I guess my question to you is I don't want to ask you too many questions that I don't want you to give stuff away, but if you had to like go off of just a gut check estimation, you mentioned Dallas and Survivor. What do you think Detroit's percentage is going to be at? So I can root for my boy Caleb Williams to take out some of my opposition in some of these big Survivor pools.
I think it's going to be fairly high. Also, things to consider, right, is with Dallas, they have a Thanksgiving game.
Yes.
Some people have already burned teams that play Thanksgiving and Christmas. So if anyone's playing a Circa Survivor or any sort of pool where you have to pick those games, you have to take that into consideration as well. I don't know what the ownership will be like on Detroit. Like, even though Detroit and Dallas are similar types of favorites right now, I think if you asked an average person, they would be much more confident in Dallas winning this week. But then you have to consider the future value with being able to use them on, like I said, a standalone slate as well. So it'll be tough. I don't think you'll see people lining up to bet Detroit in Survivor this week, though.
Okay, yeah, because they also do have that Thursday, that Thanksgiving game, but it's against Green Bay, I think. So it's like,
yes.
So it's a little bit tougher. Probably preseason people who mapped it out maybe wanted to take the Lions there, but then I don't know about that anymore. All right. Rob, before you head out, what's one thing you're most looking forward to in week 2 in terms of something that you can react to or something that you saw in week 1 that you want more clarity on? What's the number one thing that sticks out in your mind right now?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I'm very much looking forward to the Cowboys beating the doors off of Jacob's Giants. I'll tell you that. I would really, really love for that to happen in some capacity. At this point, everything is so monetarily driven for me that it's like I'm basically cheering for season-long positions. I'll have my eye on San Fran, New Orleans quite a bit this week because that's not one that when you're betting San Fran futures at the beginning of the year, that's a game where you're just kind of like, it's not a guarantee, but you're like, they should win this game. Like the whole handicap with San Fran is look at the schedule at the start of the year. It's a breeze for them. They'll get through it with these injuries. Well, now they have even more injuries. So let's see if they can get through it even against another bad opponent. But I think for week 2, biggest thing for me is I have some theories from week 1 that I believe maybe some teams are overvalued or undervalued. And now we just see if they come to fruition in week 2. It's a tough one. It's challenging. There's very few data points so far.
Yeah. All right. Hopefully we can get a couple more though coming in week 2 that can help us out and guide us throughout the rest of the season. Rob, appreciate you joining us on the show today. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks, Jay.
All right. Go follow Rob on Twitter at Rob Pizzola if you're not doing that already. And that brings us to the end of our show. Rob just said behind the scenes, hey guys, please smash the like button. Please subscribe as well. Do us a big favor here. He's giving me the thumbs up behind the scenes. So yeah, if you guys can do that, be greatly appreciated there. That was a great show today. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Let's talk about what we have coming up for tomorrow. Excuse me. We have honestly, it's a pretty awful slate. We have Mr. Peanut Butter, who's terrible. Drew Dinsick comes in to save the day to talk some NFL. And then we have Kirk Evans. Oh, Kirk Evans coming on for to talk NBA.
How many times is he going to mention J.J. McCarthy in that fucking segment?
I hope none because we're supposed to be talking about NBA. So, if you guys are looking forward to tomorrow's show, we're going to be talking some college football with Mr. Peanut Butter. Some look-aheads to NFL Week 2 with Drew. And then Kirk Evans is going to come on and talk about some NBA, which should be interesting because I don't know very much about the NBA. Hopefully he can educate me.
I got you.
All right, there we go. Hopefully
tonight. Don't forget tonight. What's tonight, Jason?
Forward Progress, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We have our early best bets show with Judah, Flup, and G Stack George. You can find that on the Forward Progress HQ YouTube channel. Go head over there now. Go hit that subscribe button. And, you'll be notified when you go live if you ring that bell as well, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. This has been the Hammer Daily, September 9th, Tuesday, September 9th edition. We'll talk soon. We'll see you tomorrow.